Welcome to today's challenge. It's going to be a long one, but super informative. You won't want to miss out on these insights. The idea that Donald Trump may have been cultivated as a Russian asset dates back to 1987, long before his presidency. Here's a timeline of key moments fueling these theories. 1987, Trump visits Moscow. Trump, a real estate mogul at the time, traveled to the Soviet Union. The trip was reportedly organized by Soviet officials interested in getting Western business investments. He returned with an interest in political ambitions, even placing ads in newspapers criticizing U.S. foreign policy and hinting at running for president. 1990s, Russian money in Trump properties? After multiple bankruptcies, Trump's businesses became financially reliant on foreign investments. Many analysts have pointed to real estate deals with Russian oligarchs as a potential method of influence. 2000s, Trump develops Russian ties. During this period, Trump and his associates built stronger financial connections to Russia, often through individuals linked to Russian intelligence. 2013, Miss Universe in Moscow. Trump's beauty pageant in Moscow reportedly put him in contact with high-level Russian figures, including oligarchs, and even intelligence-linked individuals. 2015-2016, Trump's campaign and Russian influence. The 2016 U.S. election saw confirmed Russian efforts to interfere, though Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report did not prove collusion. It documented many links between Trump associates and Russian operatives. 2017-2020, pro-Russian policy shifts. As president, Trump repeatedly took stances that benefited Russia, including undermining NATO, hesitating to condemn Putin, pushing for the U.S. to withdraw from Syria, which benefited Russian military interests, attempting to ease sanctions on Russia. 2025, allegations resurface. Former KGB agent Alnur Mussayev has reignited claims that Trump has been a Russian sleeper agent for decades. With Donald Trump back in power, the questions surrounding his relationship with Russia have taken on even greater urgency. While the sleeper agent theory remains speculative, Trump's attitude, policy decisions, and diplomatic approach toward Vladimir Putin in his second term provide strong signals of either deep admiration, strategic alignment, or potential compromise. Let's examine how Trump's actions now, as president, reflect an unusual level of respect and commitment to Putin, and what that means for the U.S. and global politics. Throughout his political career, Trump has consistently praised Putin while dismissing concerns about Russian aggression. Now that he is back in office, his rhetoric and behavior show a level of respect and commitment toward the Russian leader that raises serious geopolitical concerns. Despite ongoing conflicts and international sanctions, Trump has avoided criticizing Putin over the war in Ukraine. Instead, he has framed Ukraine as the obstacle to peace, signaling that he may pressure Kiev to negotiate on Russian terms. In speeches, Trump has referred to Putin as a leader he understands and trusts more than American intelligence services, echoing his infamous 2018 Helsinki comments. Unlike previous U.S. presidents who maintained a firm stance against Russia's geopolitical ambitions, Trump has treated Putin as a partner rather than a competitor. Trump has never once criticized Putin's leadership, a stark contrast to how he treats allies like NATO leaders, whom he frequently insults. He calls Putin smart and strong, using language that legitimizes Russia's authoritarian model, while attacking democratic institutions in the U.S. and Europe. Beyond words, Trump's actual policies in 2025 reveal a level of alignment with Russian interests that cannot be ignored. Trump has threatened to pull the U.S. out of NATO, calling it an obsolete alliance that only benefits Europe. A weakened NATO directly benefits Russia, as it would reduce deterrence in Eastern Europe. By signaling that America may abandon its commitments to defend allies, Trump is giving Putin the geopolitical opportunity of a lifetime. Trump has halted or severely reduced military aid to Ukraine, arguing that America should not be wasting money on foreign wars. This decision directly aids Russia's war effort, making it easier for Putin to achieve his objectives without Western interference. It also sends a clear message. Trump prioritizes Russian interests over long-standing U.S. alliances. Trump's administration is working to ease economic sanctions on Russia, claiming they hurt U.S. businesses more than they impact Russia. This contradicts decades of bipartisan policy aimed at curbing Russian aggression. By lifting sanctions, Trump is allowing Russia to strengthen its economy and military, removing a key tool of Western pressure. A shocking possibility that has been discussed in diplomatic circles. Will Trump recognize Russian-occupied territories in Ukraine as part of Russia? If Trump officially acknowledges Crimea, Donetsk, and Luhansk as Russian territory, it would be the biggest political win for Putin since the fall of the Soviet Union. Is Trump's commitment to Putin strategic or personal? Is Trump's alignment with Russia based on a long-standing covert relationship, a personal admiration for Putin, or strategic interests? If the sleeper agent theory were true, Trump's current behavior would align perfectly with a long-term Russian intelligence plan. Weakening NATO, withdrawing from Ukraine, and easing sanctions all serve Putin's strategic goals. His public loyalty and refusal to condemn Putin suggest a deeper commitment beyond typical diplomatic pragmatism. Trump may not be a formal Russian agent, but his ego, admiration for authoritarian leaders, and business interests make him easy to manipulate. Putin plays into Trump's desire for respect, praising him in a way that keeps Trump aligned with Russian interests. Russian oligarchs may have financial leverage over Trump, ensuring his policies favor Russia. Putin has successfully dismantled democratic systems in Russia, eliminating opposition and controlling the media. Trump's attacks on U.S. democracy, such as attempting to overturn elections, suggest he aspires to Putin's model of absolute power. His support for strongmen like Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un reveals a preference for authoritarianism over democracy. If Trump continues governing in a way that aligns with Russian interests, the consequences for the U.S. and the world are enormous. Without U.S. support, NATO may weaken, giving Russia a freer hand in Europe. Eastern European nations like Poland, the Baltic states, and Finland may be left vulnerable to Russian aggression. A U.S. retreat under Trump could solidify a China-Russia alliance, reshaping global power. The perception of Trump as compromised, whether by admiration, financial ties, or intelligence leverage, could permanently damage U.S. credibility. The question remains, is this just Trump's personal admiration for Putin, or something far more sinister? If Trump had been compromised by Russia decades ago, this would be the culmination of one of the most successful intelligence operations in history. If Trump is merely playing into Putin's hands out of personal affinity or political advantage, the outcome is just as dangerous. A world where the U.S. actively enables Russian aggression. If Trump's policies lead to a major geopolitical shift away from democracy and toward authoritarianism, it will be his legacy as a leader who prioritized personal power over national security. Regardless of whether Trump is a longtime Russian asset or simply a leader whose instincts favor Russia, the outcome is the same: a U.S. presidency that empowers Vladimir Putin and weakens America's global standing. And that, perhaps, is the greatest victory Russia could ever hope for.